Danger, Will Robinson, danger.
What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about, Will?
We want your soul.
It really is a time when all of us have got to start talking louder than ever. The rapid speed of, if you like, globalization. The world government, world army, world central bank, world currency, world microchip population.
Don't be afraid.
No, be afraid. Be very afraid.
The important thing is to know where they want to take us.
They have to destroy the dollar, destroy the pound, destroy the old order while they've been building the new world order, this technological enslavement system.
The FBI is taking on a $1 billion project to gather fingerprints, palm patterns, even digital pictures of faces. Eventually, it could expand to include iris patterns, face shape patterns, scars, even information about how you walk and talk. It's called biometrics.
We want your soul.
You can't handle the truth.
Time to Howl at the Wolves. It's Saturday night, October 4, 2025 or 2025. What do they say at the Bilderberg Group?
As you like it.
Adam Earth in studio. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Next to me is Keith Temple. No stranger to the show. No, how are you, Keith?
I am awesome. Glad to be here tonight.
One of my co-hosts is here, and the other is incommunicado for right now. Who knows? He might pop in. But Dr. Brooks Agnew, brooksagnew.com. How are you?
Excellent. Good to be here. Another Saturday night on Earth.
That is right. And one of our longest running guests, period, is joining us tonight as well. And I always love his input. He was last with us for the election night show, that marathon show that we did. He is the award-winning documentary filmmaker of the film A Noble Lie, Oklahoma City, 1995. He is a United States Marine, researcher, radio host in his own right. Holland Van Nieuwenhof, how are you?
I am outstanding. Thank you once again, my friend, for having me on. It's a pleasure.
It's man, I would have you on every night, but I have to twist your arm every night. But it's great. It's always great to talk with you, Holland.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a lot. You know, we can go anywhere. I don't know what's on everyone's mind, so we can discuss. I made garlic noodles, which was invented in San Francisco. It's a Asian Italian fusion, and a burrata tomato basil salad for the guys tonight. And I think they're kind of liking it.
Oh, it's good.
I finished mine.
Adam Earth has licked the plate clean, as they say.
Yeah. If y'all don't want yours, just pass it on down here.
I'm going to eat mine. You keep looking at me like that. I'm going to have to pass it over, though.
You turn your head, it might not be there when you look back.
Guys, I don't know. Holland, you got somebody you want to lead off with, or Brooks? And we'll just, it's a free for all.
Well, I know that the assassination of Charlie Kirk has been on everyone's mind as of late. Maybe we should open with that before we move on to other subjects, get the various viewpoints out there. I know I have questions myself about what happened. I'm not partial to any so-called alternative theory. I honestly, I still lean into the official story, and I speak that as someone who has dismantled official stories before. I co-produced a documentary on the Oklahoma City bombing called A Noble Lie, Oklahoma City, 1995. I'm sure some of you in your audience have heard of it, and you can watch it for free on Rumble, or there's even pirate versions on YouTube. It can be found, and it's a 2-hour documentary on the Oklahoma City bombing, exposing the official story as a cruel farce is what it is. I'm from Oklahoma. I live in Oklahoma City. Much of the cast and crew were also from Oklahoma City. And, this is a small town. And with the help of not just, our network, but former state senators and politicians and private investigators, we're able to demonstrate that what they were saying about the Oklahoma City bombing is a lie. Now, I don't have the final answer to the Oklahoma City bombing. I do not, but I can demonstrate conclusively that the official story is false. So when I look at the Charlie Kirk assassination, I automatically go to skeptical mode, obviously. But, you know, I'm also not wedded to any particular theory. Right. I suspect that there might be something untoward going on. I know there's a lot of ballistic and acoustic evidence and eyewitness evidence that people are espousing that, you know, apparently fly in the face of the official story. I'm not discounting any of that. I just think that a lot of these questions could be answered if the Justice Department was a lot more forthcoming with information. There has not been a comprehensive presser to address all of these questions that are swirling about this this crime, and that's causing problems. People are, you know, thinking the worst. So I'm not sure what y'all think about all that.
I think they couldn't get Trump, so they took a shot at Charlie.
Well, Brooks, where are you at with what Holland has said?
Well, I think that within a few hours, Governor Spencer and Kash Patel were very quick to say, all right, 33 hours, we have it solved, we have a confession, it's done, we know what happened, know how it happened, we know we have the murder weapon, we have motive, it's done. That kind of flies in the face of gathering the information, gathering all the data, looking at all the cell phone cameras. There's probably at least 200 cameras that filmed this thing. We've only seen maybe 3 or 4 of them, and we've seen alterations of those 3 or 4 and repeats of those 3 or 4 over and over and over again. And still, everybody that's seen them, I would say nobody that's seen them has a conclusive, this is exactly what happened. That Tyler took the shot bounced off of a vest or something, or some miraculous way a 30-06 didn't blow his neck in 3 pieces. And that's the end of it. There are so many unanswered questions. Now, the encouraging thing is that I heard Kash Patel in a presser mention all the things I just mentioned, that might have been a 30-06, it might have been close range, it might have been another gun and not that gun. Maybe Tyler never did take the shot. It's
Kash Patel said that?
Well, yeah, he's posing, or actually repeating all the questions that he has received.
Okay.
Which means the FBI is going to be looking into those things. But that also goes along with what I was saying before, that they should never have come out and said it was done with a bolt action Mauser 98 from 200 yards with a 3x9x40 scope by Tyler Robinson, and here's his motivation. They should not have come out and said that. They should have come out and said, we don't have all the information yet, don't jump to conclusions, let us complete our investigation. He didn't say that. And now they're saying that he definitely positively was not wearing a vest. Well, maybe he was wearing a vest. Or now they're trying to say that the microphone that he was wearing on his shirt was actually a shaped charge, and they assassinated him from just a few inches away. But what about the supersonic report of that bullet going through the air that everybody heard, that everybody ducked from? I mean, there's just a lot of evidence that we observed as witnesses through whatever video source we were watching. And we have questions, and we want those questions answered. We know that he was killed. We know that he's dead. But what we want to know is, did he act alone, or were there 10 or 15 people involved? And if those 10 or 15 people were involved, what kind of money was behind it? What kind of planning was behind it? Who in the government was involved in this assassination? We want the answers to those questions.
Yes, and there was a tidbit that came out just recently. Something that perplexed me before was Kirk's security team appeared to be competent. They are professionals, and they appear to be on the ball when it came to in close threats. They were watching people, they were communicating, passing hand signals, all that. And I'm not an expert on executive protection, and I cannot tell you what they were actually doing. I'm not going to make that judgment. But they appeared to be competent to me. I was perplexed why they did not have any coverage for a long-range shooter, because that is the threat. That is the pattern, as we see with President Trump. And apparently, TPUSA's producer came out and said that the Utah Valley Police had forbidden them from using a drone to look for long-range threats, and that they were going to secure the rooftops. But apparently none of that ever happened.
That's
Yeah,
how
it does.
go ahead, Brooks.
It doesn't happen, and what really frustrates us is that the events where it doesn't happen, where the Secret Service doesn't show up, where the cops don't coordinate, where there's no roof coverage, it just happens to be the ones that CNN is covering everything live with a high-speed slow-motion camera, so they could pick up the assassination and broadcast it worldwide.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Holland,
Exactly.
that was my question immediately when I found out, because you and I were talking shortly after. Well, all of us were, but you and I privately, I was asking about his security detail, and let's use the word perplexing, that they're not looking for anybody on the roof. I mean, that should be the main
Well,
thing.
apparently the university campus police had denied their request to use a drone to look for long-range threats, and had said that they would secure the rooftops, but none of that ever happened. The university police only had 8 personnel on the clock, on the site, and they were dealing with crowd control. They were not dealing with long-range threats. And, that's a state institution. And questions need to be asked, because Charlie Kirk despised the governor of Utah, although he's a Republican, because he considered him a closet Democrat and was threatening to primary him, and among other Republican politicians. So, I mean, I'm not saying that they are responsible or we should point fingers at them, but these questions need to be asked. And, I don't know how civil litigation works, but if the university police told his security team that they secured the rooftops and they did not,
That's a
I mean,
problem.
is that room for a massive lawsuit? And is that another reason why everyone is keeping their mouth shut? So
That's a huge point to make right there. Let me. That's a huge point. Let me test this real quick. Do we have Scotty Hare on? No. I thought you had already called him. Okay, never mind.
There was an issue.
What's that?
There was a problem. Let me try it out.
Okay, that's my fault for interrupting the flow, guys.
Well, Brooks, and I think the idea is 2-3 weeks ago when this came up, I think we discussed if it is a long-range shooter, and let's assume it is, and all the issues about the security detail. Once again, where did the young man train? Where did he didn't just go pick up a rifle and just first time out go out and have a successful shot 200 yards away. The idea is if that's the legit issue, somewhere someone, and I haven't heard a word about tracing where he practiced and used that rifle before.
Well, they did say that he was using a range. After he purchased that rifle, he was at a range. And there was even video or pictures of him at the range practicing.
Okay.
Yeah, so he did have some practice on the range, I think they said, with maybe his grandfather.
His father was.
Well, apparently his family was pretty staunch Republican, and he grew up not as an avid sportsman, but he was taught how to shoot.
Right.
And I will say that pulling off, and I've seen figures that the range of the shot was the range of the shoot was actually only 140 yards. I haven't measured it out, so 140 to 200 yards. with the 3-9 power scope, quite honestly, would take someone about 15 minutes of instruction to pull off that shot. So I am not of the mind that he was incapable of pulling off the shot. It was a fairly straightforward shot. Now I don't know if he was aiming at the neck, but he certainly, it's not inconceivable that he could have found neck from that range.
He may.
I also say that, go ahead.
He may have been aiming for the chest, and if he
Or the
had-
head.
And if he had that vest on and the round, what's the word?
Ricochet.
That's something that still perplexes me, is that I have watched the slow frames of that, and his shirt flies up first. Now, some are saying that he was wearing a stainless steel crucifix, and that very well could have deflected the bullet too.
It could.
Apparently, the autopsy.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just saying it could
Well-
be very well that they were trying to shoot him in the heart.
Yeah, yeah. And from what I understand, the autopsy report is expected within about a month. Those things are never fast. There's always a line, so that's nothing untoward. So perhaps with the autopsy, those questions will be answered. They'll have to be answered in some way or another. The fact is that there's been ambivalence about him wearing a plate. I don't know if I assumed and I thought he was wearing a plate at first. That's what it appeared to be, but I'm not convinced of that. And also I know that a lot of people, and for good reason, have derided the notion that a 30-06 from 140 to 200 yards does not drive all the way through the neck. And I understand that. On paper, a 30-06 with 2,000 to 3,000 pounds of foot-pound per energy obviously should go all the way through the neck. Right. But I'm not the expert on ballistics, and reading the commentary of hunters who use a 30-06, and these people who are proficient in digging out bullets out of their quarry have stated that while not commonplace, if you've hunted long enough, you'll find one of your bullets just did something inexplicable and did not perform as it should have. And he probably used hunting ammunition. It was a hunting rifle, and actually there's not even a whole lot of 30-06 full metal jacket on the market these days. I'm sure it's still in a lot of people's closets, but it was a hunting rifle, and he probably used the ammunition with the rifle. It's probably hunting ammunition, and that ammunition is designed to expand and tumble. And it is, I will say, it's not a bet I would make ever, but it is within the realm, in my opinion, of conceivability that the bullet did expand and tumble and took an awkward course that did not exit the body. That, I believe, is within the realm of possibility. It's not likely, and like I said, it's never a bet that I would make, but in my opinion, it cannot be ruled out.
Let me ask you guys this. Have you guys looked at Dr. Chris Martinson's inquiry into this at all?
Is that the video you sent me?
If it's Chris Martinson.
Yes, I have seen. I've seen much of that. Yes, and I cannot argue with him. I cannot argue with the experts on this. But I'm just saying that unless it falls outside the realm of possibility, I can't run with it. And
I understand.
I have questions. I definitely have questions, but I am not wedded to any particular alternative theory right now.
Holland, I'm totally with you, my brother. And I want to get Brooks on this too. I'm saying as far as Martinson, he's saying there's a shot from a different angle, and he's talking about the cavitation event when you're talking about with Charlie's shirt. And so it was just interesting. I mean, Brooks, you said you did see the video, or?
Well, I don't know if I saw that particular video, but I have seen lots of videos of testing of various types of body armor, and I understand that Mr. Kirk probably had top-of-the-line Kevlar body armor on. If you hit in the middle of the body armor, that's considered 3 inches from any edge. That's considered the middle of the body armor. the body armor will stop the round. You might break a rib, but it's going to stop the round. If you get outside the middle, which is within 3 inches of the edge of any vest, even a plated vest, is going to delaminate, and you're going to fragment that bullet. And that is consistent with what I saw over and over and over again happen to Charlie Kirk's neck. A fragment went into his neck and severed the carotid artery, which killed him.
Yeah, and I will say that that hole that went into his neck looked awfully big.
Yeah.
When I first saw it, I was like, would they shoot him with a 44? I mean, that was not a 30 caliber hole. It was either a bullet that was sideways or a fragment.
Mm-hmm.
It was not the bullet entering face on.
Right.
Unless it was at such an angle with the neck flesh that it made an oval shape. You know, like I said, I'm trying to not to rule out every possibility here, but I mean that hole was pretty big, and I have seen commentary by decorated snipers from the war who said that entrance wound looked unlike what they were used to.
Yeah.
So it was some kind of unusual
and
angle,
if you look
path, or fragment.
180 grain bullet traveling 2,700 feet a second. From 200 yards, it will drop 3.99 inches. That's consistent with where the bullet hit.
What if they self-loaded the round?
Well, see that possibility. That is a definite possibility. If they were custom loading the round, like let's say it was a 110 grain bullet, which you can get for a 30-06. It's rare. It's more of a varmint round than it is a hunting round. The standard round is 180 grains, and it's got a lead tip. It's jacketed, but it has a lead tip. But if he is custom loading, all bets are off. You could even get it subsonic if you could do that.
Yeah, and then...
well, that's the thing. There are so many variables with the ammunition and the rifle that they have failed to answer. We just simply want to know what kind of bullet was that.
Right.
Because that would answer a lot of questions.
There's people online that alter the round itself. You know, they put cuts in it, grooves in it, so that on impact it splits apart in different ways. Or
yeah, and you can clip the tip off with fingernail clippers to ensure that it tumbles. There's all sorts of things you can do to bullets to make them do weird things.
So I'd really like to see if they can find some of that round and kind of.
We'll see what the autopsy says.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what comes out.
Yeah, when the autopsy.
Yeah, the autopsy is either going to answer or cause more questions, either or.
Right. Well, and I think it's interesting that the range of the shot between 140 and 200 has been based off of, I guess, wavelength analysis of speed and sound and those types of things. But I mean, you got video of him ascending or descending, from the stairwells. I mean, it's pretty clear if he's the shooter, and I have no reason to believe he's not, which rooftop he's on. So, I mean, that's a pretty wide range, in my opinion. I mean, and
I'll say another thing is, man, the video they have released, I don't see a rifle.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't either.
Even if he and I wish they would address this, but they said he disassembled it on the rooftop, and unless that's a takedown rifle, which of course we don't know, to do that with tools takes like a minute or so on a bench without an adrenaline dump. Okay. With good lighting and air conditioning, and did he disassembled the rifle, but we don't see it
and then reassembled it and dropped it in the woods?
I think
yes, this makes zero sense. I mean, I'm not trying to be the JFK guy here. I don't. I want it, honestly. I want it to be the guy who was in love with the tranny. Okay, I do.
Yeah.
But the story is not making sense. It's not. I don't see a rifle. That barrel is 2 foot long. That stock is 2 foot long. If he broke it down, it would stick out of his backpack. Some people have said they shoved it down his pants. I don't see it in his pants, man. I don't see a Mauser in his pants. I owned a Mauser once. Okay, it's a big piece of gear.
The 29-inch barrel.
I wonder if he put
Yeah.
it up there before the rally started.
But how did he get from the rooftop to the woods?
Oh yeah.
And here's the thing, that video they released of him jumping off the rooftop, okay, that's just a corner of that video coverage. That video camera covered the entire building, including the sniper's perch. Why didn't they not show him getting into position, taking the shot, disassembling the rifle, and they only showed him jumping off the roof. The reason it was so blurry was because it was a blown up portion of the total video coverage. And it doesn't show him taking the shot or disassembling or reassembling or whatever.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They've got this footage only of him leaving.
Yeah.
Why don't you have the footage of him arriving and executing the actual deed?
Well, I did see some footage of him.
It's not making any sense.
I did see some footage of him headed over to the building, but it doesn't show where he came from. And then they have the one of him.
He's jumping off the rooftop, Adam.
No,
we should see him running into position on the rooftop or crawling.
That's what I'm saying.
And we see no weapon in that footage. We see no weapon.
No, I understand that. I'm saying that I did see some footage of him when he arrived, but it only showed him walking from a parking lot toward the building, and then it cuts off.
And I see no weapon. There's no weapon. His backpack was not large enough to conceal two 2-foot pieces of a rifle.
Correct.
And I did not see a Mauser stuck down his pants. I did not. I cannot see it.
This is
perplexed.
the most Holland's ever looked at our man's pants.
What was the yardage in the assassination attempt on Trump?
Like 150.
It was a similar. It was like 130 yards. It was very similar.
Iron sights, no scope.
But once again, that shot can be pulled off if you have a modicum of training. But very similar. And I'll say another thing. And once again, I'm not trying to be the JFK guy, but we got a Mauser that was used in the Charlie Kirk assassination. We have a Mauser that was used most recently in the shooting in Dallas at the ICE facility where the crazy guy shut up an ICE van and killed detainees. A Mauser used there. And I'll add this, just because, it's a Mauser. When the Dallas police responded to the school depository building in Dallas after the JFK assassination, 2 police officers said that the rifle they pulled out of the actual sniper's perch was not a Mannlicher Carcano. It was a Mauser.
Huh.
They testified. They wrote statements to this, and one of them owned a sporting goods store and sold Mausers. He knew exactly what he was looking at.
Says Mauser.
So we have this recurrent theme of the Mauser popping up its head again. I'm not sure if that's just synchronicity or what, but it's strange.
It is. It is. Go ahead, Brooks. I'm sorry.
Well, I was saying it says Mauser right on it. I owned one for years. It said Spandau on it. Told the year it was made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I used to own a VZ24, Czech Mauser 98, Czech made version of the Mauser. Yeah.
There's another one.
So, like I said, I want it to be, the crazy Antifa guy in love with the tranny, but the story they're giving us, man,
it's making that
not
hard
really
to
adding
buy.
up.
Yes, it's making it hard to buy.
It's making it hard to buy.
That's the problem. That would have been a great story, and we got him, and there you go, and it kind of works for, listen, we need to stop, promoting all this.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm telling you, man, I don't see a Mauser. There's close-up footage of him leaving and entering, the kill zone, and I don't see a Mauser in his backpack. I don't see anything sticking out, which it would. He had a small backpack. And there's nothing in his pants. Okay. And he seems to be limping in some of that footage. The problem is some of that footage is before the shooting, they say, and not after, when he might have hurt his leg jumping off that roof. So, I mean, I want to be, Team Trump and whatever, man, I am, but it's not making much sense. I don't know who's pulling whose strings or who's jerking who. I don't know.
You know what? I can make this point now that you bring up being Team Trump, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. Everyone on this show tonight is, of course, pro Team Trump, and
yeah.
But everyone, at least as far as I know, I'm fairly sure it's the fact. Everyone questioning whether it's this particular media platform or other media platforms, from Tucker Carlson to just everyone on the example here is we're questioning this story that doesn't make sense, and so in a way we're questioning Trump's FBI, right? But we're willing to do that.
Yeah.
Other people on the other side.
I'm not gonna.
No, what I'm saying.
I'm not going to deny evidence in front of my eyes, even though it's from my side. I'm not going to do that.
Exactly.
But that's where we.
That's
you're right.
us,
That's where we defer from the left.
Right.
Yeah. That's where we defer from the left. We don't automatically buy the story because it's our team. No, we don't. I want this to make sense, and it doesn't.
Yeah, we're not here defending. We're saying no, it doesn't make sense. That point should be taken by a lot of people, and I'm glad
that we're truth seekers.
Exactly.
We're looking for, and we want to make it public, so that it's all above board, and we can have confidence in our government, right? I mean, that's what it's about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you don't want this thing going sideways.
Yeah, and if the truth goes against Team Trump, well, I'm sorry, man. I got to go. I got to go with the truth. I'm sorry. I'm not saying it goes against it, but
Yeah.
Truth.
The story's simply ridiculous.
Thank you. It's as ridiculous as the official story of 9/11.
I wanted to say that, but I didn't want to get off track. Is that it reminds me very much of the deception and the lies, or whatever words some of you have articulated tonight that were awesome. That the bottom line is the story that's presented is just false. I think we're talking about the Oklahoma City issue.
Yeah.
Brooks, you have words of wisdom for everyone listening?
Do I? Well, I am more concerned with the truth and whose side it's on.
Right.
I wish that Kash Patel had a little bit more experience in the sense that he could say, look, too many pieces of evidence are missing. We don't have them yet. When we have them, we will give you a timeline of what happened and how it happened. We don't have all the information yet. Hang loose. Everyone would have understood that.
And expected
But that's not what he did. He announced an arrest before an arrest had been made.
Exactly.
He was already trying to close the case before it was closed. This does not give me confidence.
Roger that all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
a rush to judgment. I mean, the idea is that they felt the need to put something out, and it was a little premature.
And I would say that something that really set me off was the governor of Utah in his press conference, his first one of the first statements out of his mouth was, "We know he acted alone."
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Wow.
No, we don't. No, we don't know. Yeah.
You're telling us.
You just said.
Yeah.
You don't know anything, man, and you're telling us he acted alone. Why? Why did he have to act alone? Why? Why is that the man? Why is that the priority? That sets me off, dude.
That raises some red flags, doesn't it? Not like you said. Looking at that critical eye of, hey, I'm going to look skepticism, right? I mean, that mean that what Reagan say? Trust but verify, right? I mean, that's kind of somewhat where we are.
Spencer Cox is trying to put his name in the hat to run for president in 28.
Yeah.
He is a Mormon, raised Mormon, multiple generations. The name Spencer comes from the time where he was born. He was born in the 70s. Spencer W. Kimball was president of the church at that time, and lots of mothers named their boys Spencer. That's where he comes from. He comes from that Mormon line. He needs the clicks, he needs the donations, and the name recognition. That's why Spencer Cox, who's the governor, who has absolutely no reason to say a damn thing about this shooting in his state, is out there trying to get his name in the mix.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I knew Charlie Kirk did not like Spencer. I know that.
Right.
He stated that time and time again.
Spencer Cox is a rhino. There are probably half a dozen of them there. Oregon, Idaho, Utah, they all have rhino governors.
Mitt Romney, right?
Yes, from Massachusetts, but yeah, you get it.
Right.
Yeah, he's also.
I thought he moved to.
He's a senator from Utah.
Yeah.
Park City.
And then Mike Lee, the other senator, he's an anti-Trump Republican. Utah is actually not a friendly state for Team Trump. For whatever reason, there has been a subversion effort within the past couple of decades in Utah to basically turn them left. And they have, the Democrats have been running in these red states. And I know this for a fact because I'm from Oklahoma, which is the reddest state in the union. But we have a number of Republican politicians here who are quite obviously closet Democrats because a blue politician cannot win in the state, and in some other states just cannot win. It's simply, if you have D next to your name, you're not going to win. So they've been running shadow candidates who are actually Democrats, and that's what this Utah thing reminds me of, is what's going on in some of the political structures here in Oklahoma. So yeah, that's but the Mormon Church, I mean, I actually like Mormon people. They seem really nice and civic-minded and responsible. I would like them as neighbors, but the Mormon Church, to me, well, one, it's based on a blasphemy. I just won't get into that, though. But two, they've been involved in lots of dirty business over the years. They've been wedded to the deep state for decades. The FBI and the CIA started recruiting Mormons in the 60s because they were very obedient. And that's in the official record. And there are a lot of deep state facilities, top secret military bases and so forth in Utah. A whole lot. So it's kind of a, kind of a repository for deep state shenanigans. That's what I'll say.
All that is true.
Wow, and they're known to tie their dogs on top of cars.
Well, the Mormon Church itself has about a 60% inactivity ratio, and that is because, and that's pretty high for any church, and they're a very wealthy church. The reason is because the gospel that you learn through the Book of Mormon and the Bible and Pearl of Great Price and Doctrine and Covenants is actually quite true. It fits very well. It's a great word of God. But the church itself deviates from those words. They have modern day prophets that interpret all this stuff for the day, the sort of adapt it to the current socioeconomic pressures that we're going under right now. The gospel's never done that. The gospel's always been unchangeable. It is we who have changed, not the gospel. And so what happens is people who learn that doctrine don't take very many years at it either, maybe less than 10. They figure out the church is going in a different direction than the gospel. And so they hold to the gospel, they just withdraw from the church.
That
indeed. Like I said, just about every Mormon I've run to has been a good and decent person. I just, not a fan of the Mormon Church. For example, one of the interview subjects in The Noble Lie, Jesse Truntadu, who's currently suing the FBI for release of the videotapes surrounding the Murrah building in 1995, which they claim are lost to eternity. He told me a story once about he's in Utah. When he first got his start as an attorney, he had a big civil litigation case against the Mormon Church because they were committing mortgage fraud, and he had them dead to rights, he had the paperwork and everything. And the judge was Mormon and simply disallowed the evidence.
Right.
And that's when he kind of realized what was up in Utah.
Ever do business with a Mormon.
I want
I'll
that.
take that. I'll take that. Yeah, I will take that advice.
Tony, I want to grab that little piece of audio. That's we could use that somewhere. Don't ever
Do business with
That was
them.
funny as hell.
Well,
telling you-
I'll make some comparisons with Mormons, and I guess they're more current. The Latter-day Saints, I mean, that's the same church, yes?
Yes, LDS.
Yes, and, you know, and I'm not trying to be divisive or anything, I'm just making comparisons with other religious groups and or cultures, you know, I mean, obviously we have Catholicism. I have tons of good, solid Catholic friends, but I'm not so hot on the hierarchy of the Catholic Church. And then
Yeah.
Jews.
You're talking to a Catholic, sir.
There you go, my good friend. Like I said, absolutely. And
But
then you know, Jewish individuals, right? I mean, there's a lot of people who are Jewish by heritage, but aren't actively Jewish by religion. And so, is that what you're kind of indicating in Utah with Mormons, and how many are engaged in the church and how many are just Mormon by family, birth, you know, generations?
Well, that's part of it. I mean, when it comes to doing business with a quote member of the church, there is kind of an endorsement that goes along with it. It's sort of like when Jews do business with each other, they do that because it's part of the brotherhood. Or when you see somebody with a Freemason ring on, and you go, oh yeah, well that guy's got to be honest because he's a Freemason. It's like that. There's an unwritten endorsement that goes with it because they're a member of the church. And people are ripped off every single day by Mormons because of that endorsement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Tony, yes or no?
Scott?
Scott Long?
Okay. But yeah, that makes sense. I understand where you're coming from, Brooks, but I think like Holland and I started laughing because that was just a great. Dude, you're a comedian too. It was beautiful. Don't ever do business with a Mormon.
I don't mean don't buy from them, just don't sign a contract with them.
Right. And expect it to be enforced.
Yeah, these insular religions tend to view outsiders as goyim. So, yeah. And I spent a fair amount of time in Utah because Timothy McVeigh spent a fair amount of time in Utah, and me and my co-writer and co-researcher Wendy Painting, she wrote a book on the Oklahoma City bombing called Aberrations in the Heartland of the Real. We spent a lot of time in Utah, and Jesse Truntadu is there, our witness. And I've been to portions of Utah and northern Arizona actually, where there are offshoot Mormon sects who practice multiple marriage.
Sure.
It's quite obvious. I mean, I've seen women in convenience stores wearing bonnets.
Wow.
Which, you know, I'm not philosophically against, but, you know, there's some weird stuff going on in Hurricane Valley, you know, northern Arizona. So And also, like I said, in the 1960s and 70s and 80s, the deep state, the FBI and the CIA was actively recruiting Mormons to fill personnel positions because they're very obedient and they keep secrets. So this wedding, literal wedding of the Mormon church to the deep state can only have bad consequences. And that's why whenever I'm in Utah, and I'll be returning there shortly, we're always on the track of these things. I'm always a little, I'm always on edge when I'm there. Don't know what's going to happen. It's a little weird.
Those girls could have also been Shakers, and they could have been Amish.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My ex-wife is kind of from the Philadelphia area, and the Amish have a big presence, and they wear the bonnets and run some of the stores and things like that. And they're very devout, family-oriented, close-knit, like you talk about, you know.
Mm-hmm. But the church itself has wedded itself to the deep state, and the governor of Utah is a rhino, probably a closet Democrat, and like Brooks said, apparently is positioning himself for a presidential run. And Kirk despised him, was talking about running people against him. And Kirk was also talking about running against, for example, here in Oklahoma, against Senator Langford out of Oklahoma, who's a complete rhino. And we've tried here in Oklahoma. We came within one vote of censuring him. It actually was a tie, but you need one more vote to actually make a censure. He is not liked at all, but he has, he's an incumbent and he has his fingers in the political machine here in Oklahoma. And frankly, most people in Oklahoma, they just vote for the guy, whoever has R next to his name.
Sure.
And there's good things that come with that, and there's bad things. Okay, and that closet rhinos can slip right in if they have kissed the right butts and made the right deals.
Well, that and the RNC has, as part of their bylaws, they are forbidden from providing any money to primary an incumbent. So if you're going to run against an incumbent as a Republican, you have to raise all your own money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the RNC's job is to keep incumbents in power, and that's not even a secret. That is their job, keep the incumbents in office. And so that's why you have a lot of problems getting rid of a lot of these rhinos that are deeply unpopular in their own states, like John Cornyn in Texas, not popular, still gets elected every year or every cycle. Langford here in Oklahoma came close, but we still haven't managed to get rid of him. Although I will say, because I know Republicans here in Oklahoma, there is a search for a suitable candidate to run against him, but there are obstacles. We have to raise all our own money. None of it's going to come from the RNC, and that's a difficulty.
We have the same thing here in North Carolina. Back when Tillis was running, I said that he was vulnerable, so I put my name in the hat to run against him. I talked with my campaign manager, and he said, well, I hope you're ready to raise $6 million. I said, why? He said, because that's just what it's going to take to get you in the primary to try to run against him, and you're not going to win with $6 million. You're probably going to have something like $60 million. Well, I don't have that kind of name recognition, so I dropped out. But a few weeks later, guess what happened? Tom Tillis dropped out. So now it's a free-for-all again. Now all the people that I was talking about, Ron Brown I've had on my commercial, on my program, I've certainly talked about it. There are others now that are considering, even Laura Trump is considering running for that Senate seat. Now it's a free-for-all. This could be the most expensive Senate race in the entire country.
They sure have gotten expensive over the last decade or two. I mean, it's crazy that Senate races now are probably topping old presidential runs.
Well, it's a case for repealing the 17th Amendment. It is long overdue. We should have repealed the 17th Amendment 25 years ago. Now it has to happen.
Okay, refresh us on the 17th Amendment.
The 17th Amendment is what allows senators to run for election. Before the 17th Amendment, senators were appointed by the state.
Ah, yes.
They were sent to Washington to represent the state. There was no money in senatorial elections. There was no foreign money. There was no interstate money. Nobody gave a shit about a senator from California or Oklahoma if you were in another state. After they started running for election at large, hell, they controlled 1/100th of the budget. It became a hugely powerful position, and that's where all the money in politics came from. And that's where these 36 and 40-year dynasties came from. It would all go away.
And also,
if the 17th Amendment.
and also there's more accountability if he's appointed by the states, because my state senator, lives 2 miles from me. Okay, I can go talk to him.
Well, yeah, not only that,
About-
if they stop representing the state and they become like this little senatorial buttfuck cluster in Washington, the state can recall them. They can say, you're
Yes.
not representing us anymore. Come back. You're fired. And they can replace them.
And state legislatures are very vulnerable to voter turnout. Like there's only like 5,000 or 6,000 people voting in those things. So like you can recall a senator from your neighborhood, because my state senator lives 2 miles from me. It's much more accountability. Like you're completely right. I completely agree with you on the 17th Amendment.
Well, I don't think you'd have to worry much about term limits if you repeal the 17th Amendment and stop letting senators run for election at large. We don't need that anymore. That was an 1880 amendment that was made. It was made because of a corruption scandal in Kentucky. You can go read up about it. That kind of situation can't arise anymore. We have much more accountability now than we had then. But once a senator's in, he's pretty much useless to everybody until his third term.
Yeah, that's
when he gets on committees and so forth.
Right.
Right.
Well, maybe we use this as a transition to obviously the other huge story.
Well, hold on, Keith, because I'm going to come back to something.
Okay, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, and I'll just.
I was going to say is
I'll-
when Chad wraps this up is that, obviously the big story is the shutdown, right? And that's what we're talking about here is the power struggle in Washington and how
Correct.
to do that. So,
And we're only talking 6 senators. 6 senators have our country shut down.
No, let's go with that because we got another hour here, but I'm just going to throw a haymaker into something
go for it.
that we were talking about. I said later on.
Oh,
Well, we have 56 or 55 senators that are voting for the continuing resolution the way it is. We need 60 because of cloture. And I mean, the Republicans have the votes and they have the president. They could go to a simple majority. They could go to 51 votes to break the cloture. It's called the nuclear option. But if they do that, and the Democrats should happen to get control of the Senate again, the whole world is fucked.
yes.
I guess hold it down. I got to get Tony because Scotty's calling.
Yes. So, right. The bottom line is I think Trump is going to use this current closure for his advantage. And so I personally don't see any real great need to resolve it by compromising either long-term security like you're talking about or something short-term. It took a lot of political clout to get the big, beautiful bill passed, right? And there's no way in the world that, the administration is going to undo that because of this issue of the current budget impasse.
Correct. Absolutely correct. They spent all this time gutting the money laundering operation that the Democrats have that has been their lifeblood for 40-something years. They took apart USAID. They took apart Act Blue. They took apart Planned Parenthood. They took apart this healthcare money laundering scheme they have, giving healthcare to illegals. And trust me, that's exactly what it is. And when you put that $1 trillion back into the budget that the one big beautiful bill took out of the budget, all you're doing is pumping money, laundered money from California to New York back into the DNC and energizing their campaigns across the country, both up and down the ballot. We have to hold the line. We have to keep this money out of the system, and that way they can't bleed it into their campaigns.
Absolutely.
See, the power of the Democratic Party is not the power of the people; it's the money that's being pumped in.
Oh, hell yeah!
Right. And that's why I love the tariffs. The issue is the tariffs are strengthening the U.S. economy by lowering the deficit and the debt, the national debt, making it where, that we can start to survive and function again. And it is taking money away from the Democratic Party. There's no doubt.
And a lot of the power bases, because with the tariffs and also the deportations, we're deporting slave labor, and they cannot move their operations offshore because of the tariffs. They have to build here. They have to hire American. You can't have one without the other. The tariffs with the deportations are really cutting in to the money power in this country, and that's good.
And who wins?
Because
The
the money-
American middle class worker,
Yes,
family.
yes,
Yes.
yes. The tradesmen, the middle class, the people who made this country great, and who have been bled dry for the past several decades by Wall Street. I'm a capitalism guy. I love free enterprise, okay? But I don't like monopoly power destroying the middle class. I don't like it at all, because that's what has happened. But this is the perfect solution. Tariffs with deportations, getting rid of the slave labor, and they cannot move their operations offshore. They have to build here. They have to hire Americans. That is the way of the future.
Thank goodness. And Trump, in my opinion, is the only person that would implement that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's funny about all that, when he first ran for president, the very first time he was on the Reform Party ticket, he ran against Buchanan. And I'm a Buchanan guy. I voted for Buchanan. And Buchanan was running on tariffs and deportations. And now Trump, who demonized him over that, has now adopted his positions.
Well, the other big news item that is out there is this ongoing insurrection in the Blue Cities. Trump's trying to stop the insurrection. The Blue Cities and Blue City judges are trying to keep the insurrection going. Right now, Portland is on the table, but it's also Chicago. It's also Louisiana. And there are only about 12 blue cities in the country. There's no such thing as a blue state. Everybody that listens to this program knows that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
There's such thing as a blue state. There are only blue cities. So there are 12 blue cities that are the key ones. There's about 37, but the 12 key blue cities are the ones Trump needs to take apart in the next year. And you have to do that by taking these criminal organizations apart. And that.
And can you imagine the outroar if there were MAGA people besieging federal buildings?
They would be saying,
can you imagine
carpet bomb.
what Jimmy Kimmel would be saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is so ridiculous that they're allowed to get away with that. Whenever a MAGA guy even raises his fist in self-defense, it becomes a national scandal. But we have Antifa and Democrats and leftists attacking federal buildings on a nightly basis, screaming, shoot them, firebombing, Ice Cube's bus because they think it's an ICE detainee bus or something. This one-sided coverage of the political violence is simply, it's like Pravda, how the mainstream media reacts to this.
Chad and I had that discussion before the show tonight, that one of the values of this podcast and this network of brothers that, assemble weekly is that exactly that is provide, right, something that the mainstream media does not want to cover and provide that opportunity for that voice to be heard. And that's one of the reasons I greatly appreciate the invite here on Saturday nights.
He just comes for the food.
Well, that helps.
Guys, we're still working on trying to get Scott here on. This is amazing, but he might join us. I don't know. So I was out with Tony trying to work with Scotty. So you guys were talking about tariffs?
Well, no, we were talking about.
Well, he was talking about Portland and the other insurrectionist cities. Go ahead.
The good news is that Trump's intel has correctly led him to Portland, which I believe is the headquarters of Antifa effort to go to war with ICE and to go to war with these cities trying to get a hold of their communities again. They're terrorizing their communities. If you put Portland right, and you take out 300, 400, 500 of these Antifa people, put them in jail for 5 years, fine them $50,000 apiece, really, really tax their economic network, you may take the entire country's Antifa effort apart.
Well, removing the lack of liability would be a big deal because they have been operating under blanket immunity under the Biden administration. And before that, with even Trump's first administration, because the FBI was not his friend, they've been operating with blanket immunity. And for example, here in Oklahoma City, back during the Summer of Love, when the BLM riots were happening,
I missed that.
A lot of outside agitators came here to Oklahoma City to try to start some stuff. And I have friends on the police department, and these people were tracked. Most of them were from Colorado. And they were followed in and followed back out. They were followed back out because as soon as they started rioting in Oklahoma City, the cops expended their entire inventory. Like they ran out of tear gas and non-lethals. They used it all. And they put felony charges on everyone. And the riots died the second day because everyone had felony charges. And they all went back to Colorado.
It didn't get that intense here in Jacksonville, but obviously I think there were many cities in which they were attempting that issue.
Let me make a point about Jacksonville real quick.
And Jacksonville put a stop on it. So go ahead, Chad, run with it.
Sheriff Williams, we have Sheriff T.K. Waters now, but Sheriff Williams was, and they're both great sheriffs, but Sheriff Williams put Antifa down so effing hard. Every single, I mean, it was ridiculous how hard they put them down. There were lawsuits that, but let me just, because I get too passionate about this but Sheriff Williams had every single JSO officer on duty, along with all of G Troop from Florida State Troopers, all of G Troop in Duval County joined, and Antifa didn't burn, didn't loot shit. They tried, and they got put down really hard. And when they got put down really hard, when it escalated, is when one of those motherfuckers, excuse my polite language, slit a JSO officer's neck.
Oh.
Jeez.
And and then 200 of these dumb fucks put a lawsuit on Jacksonville Sheriff's Office for excessive force. Mm-hmm. Well, your excessive force was trying to burn and loot buildings and slashing a JSO officer's neck. Mm-hmm. So you can take your excessive force lawsuit and shove it. But what Sheriff Williams did here in Jacksonville was what every mayor, if they have chief of police, and of course sheriffs should have done all over the country. It's exactly what Williams did. It was beautiful because they tried to come here. Jorge Soros bust them here. And they didn't. They were horribly unsuccessful.
Yeah. So
Really
removing this blanket liability from Portland, which the city of Portland and the Portland Police Department are in on, holding these people accountable will do a lot to tamp down all of this. I mean, they are so bold and so aggressive and so violent because they're allowed to be. And if Trump actually enforces order in Portland with the National Guard, with ICE, with the federal police force, which I'm not on the side of the feds usually, okay? I almost never am, okay?
They're making it difficult for you, Holland.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in a quandary here, okay? But I know most of those guys are just, basic dudes just doing their job and trying to do the right thing, okay? And I hope so, at least. And, I've had bad experiences with the FBI. But anyways, they just, remove the blanket liability, hold them accountable for assaulting a federal building, assaulting federal officers, go after the networks, go after the leadership, use all of that, counterinsurgency tactics you used in Iraq and Afghanistan, I guess. Use that here in terms of tracking down who is running this, who's funding it, who's providing, the protective equipment. How come they're walking around with, full protective gear, gas mask, and flak vests and all that? They're not buying that stuff. Who's giving it to them? Track all of that down, destroy it, because they're communists and they're nihilists. A lot of them are Satanists. I mean, it's a spiritual war.
Amen. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, at the Trump rally here in Tulsa, in Oklahoma, his first one after COVID hit, there was a whole crowd of people across the street chanting "Hail Satan." The protesters. And I'm sure, I guess they thought they were being edgy and whatever, but I'm glad I'm on this side of that line. Okay, I'm not on the side of the line that's chanting "Hail Satan." I'm not on that side. All right.
I'm not inviting them to dinner.
No.
Our fight is not against flesh and blood. I think that's in Ephesians. And it's,
Ephesians 15:16, I believe.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's very
that's
well
something
said.
about these guys is they're so nihilist, and especially this the tranny thing going on. I'm not using that as a prerogative. I mean, just what they are. They're trannies, but it's a nihilistic. It's an unspiritual. It's against God. They will not stop. Okay, they're already dead inside. They're not going to. They're going to keep on doing this violence. I mean, after Charlie Kirk, we had the thing in Dallas, the assassin who tried to kill ICE officers but ended up killing detainees.
Yeah.
I mean, these people need to be dismantled. Their leadership, their support needs to be dismantled because they will not stop unless it is.
Well, just look at it. Netflix has lost how many billions in the last 96 hours, right? And, and then the Super Bowl coming out with Bad Bunny, right? As their halftime entertainment.
Well, people are going to boycott the halftime show. They're going to learn. People are going to boycott the halftime show.
Hey, Holland, hold on one second.
We're just trying to bring Scotty in.
Eric, can you hear us? Scott?
Hello.
Hey, Scotty.
All right.
Well, you missed a good first half of the show.
Holland, you're still here, right?
Okay, I can tell you this. The first thing I'm going to do when I get back full time is find a new way for all of us to connect.
There you go.
Let's double check. Holland, can you hear us?
I can.
Okay, cool. So Scotty here.
Holland, how you doing, my brother?
How you doing, Scott? It's good to hear from you.
Oh, it's good to hear me too. I can tell you that after tonight. Man, too much. Yeah, the first thing I'm doing is we are going to figure out something else to connect to. I can tell you that because this is just ridiculous.
Well, Scotty, thanks for joining us, but we were just ending the show. Have a good night.
All right, okay. Let justice be done, though the heavens just fell, and yeah, this is Earth, and I'm going home. It just...
Well, Scotty, listen, man, we've been talking about a number of things tonight. So I know you've just been trying to get on. So you can say hi
I've
to
heard a little bit.
You can say hi to Brooks too, and Keith is here, and Adam, and all that jazz.
Brooks, Keith, how's everybody doing over there? Haven't talked to you in a while. Hope everything's going well. How you guys all doing?
We're all glad to have you on, and like you say, we're going to get up and rocking and rolling here over the next week or two, and having a good discussion here tonight. We talked a little bit about Charlie Kirk, talked a little bit about things going on in Washington. We're currently talking about some of the resistance in the 12 or so major Democrat stronghold cities and what the administration is doing to break that nonsense up.
And then Chad's going to throw a haymaker.
Yeah, I'm currently looking at a video of Portland, which is, I think, about to go off like a tinderbox. You could see a lot of Antifa looking individuals with gas masks and everything starting to assemble in front of the ICE facility. And it's feeling like something is going to go off here. It's, I don't know. If anything,
I wonder if they're trying to purposely invite some kind of over response.
Right.
Yeah, they are. I mean, you have one person who's standing in front of the entryway, just at a military. You would know this, obviously. You guys would know this at like a military at ease position, and he's just looking forward, and that's all he's done, literally for a couple hours now. And you have a bunch of people, a bunch of basically younger adults that, one dressed up in all black with masks, with a mask on and a gas mask, having what looks like it looks like a very fake press credential, and is wearing a tack vest with press on it. A lot of this is about to go off. This isn't good. I mean, tonight I know that a judge up in Portland is, even though they can't do it because the Supreme Court has already said they can't, has temporarily put a hold on National Guard troops being activated and going into Portland. So that's another district judge who's thinking, that they're obviously bigger than the Supreme Court. It's just it's getting to a point where something has to give. It's getting to a point where you really got to put some of these people who think they have all this authority. The Congress has got to start putting them in their place. Mm-hmm. And it's a harsh way to say it, but we're dealing with different times now with the assassination, the murder of Charlie Kirk, and the fact that we're not getting all of the information with that. I mean, come on, we know this kid didn't do it, and Kash Patel wants to sit there, and try to tell us that he did. And Dan Bongino has been very, very quiet about it, almost silent.
Dan Bongino's quitting at the end of the year.
Well, I hope so, because something, I don't know what is going on at the Justice Department, but this isn't what we voted for. We wanted the Justice Department to be cleared. We wanted the Justice Department to start working for us. And really, I think, Brooks, you said it before, we don't need an FBI. Every single state has their own investigative units.
That's
Why
right.
do we need an FBI? The FBI is doing absolutely nothing. And right now, I think you would all agree with me, and you guys can all comment on this. At this point, I can't trust Kash Patel or anybody within the Justice Department. I can't trust Pam Bondi. I can't trust anybody because, again, we're getting half the information, and we know that there's something wrong, and they're just trying to run away from it. I heard one of you say tonight that, they're just quickly trying to close these cases down. And, okay, that's it. There's nothing to look at here. When we know that there's more to look at. Charlie Kirk wasn't killed by this kid. There's no way that he could have been killed by this kid. And yet they just want to keep this narrative going. And it's, how are we supposed to trust them anymore? And, if it comes up, and I hate to say it, and I heard you say this when I was trying to get on Holland, if it comes to the point where we find out that it has to do with the Trump administration and they're either protecting somebody or they're protecting a country or they're protecting something, I am all about the law, and I told that to somebody today.
The truth.
That I was having an argument with.
The truth.
I am all about the law, and you know what? If it comes that the law is not in the place where the Trump administration is, I got to go with the law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
That's
Scotty, we were saying the truth. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Brooks.
That's correct. The law is king. And Scotty kind of nailed it. You know, Stan saying we don't really need an FBI. The FBI does nothing. No, the FBI does a lot. They murder, they spy, they fabricate evidence, they tamper with witnesses, they intimidate judges. They have been at the core of obstruction of justice for 40 years in this country. And they need to be disbanded.
And that's the thing is they can be, and we can come up with a substitute. There is precedent. The DEA has been disbanded 3 or 4 times over its history and reformed with a different name because of corruption. And why not the same with the FBI?
And every state has their own Bureau of Investigation, and they're all quite competent. We don't need an FBI.
Well, and I think we've mentioned on the show is that there's an awful lot more accountability the closer it is to the voters. And so obviously, you know, those investigative report through the governor, and obviously there's a lot more engagement, I guess, accountability on the state level. And that's what they're finding with the Department of Education and so many other things. And I've said on this show a couple of different times is, you know, hey, I love Trump. I love what he's doing and where he's going. But Trump is not the end all of this movement of retaking America. We need to be thinking at this point about midterms in 2028 and what goes on with this movement, this people of retaking back America post-Trump, you know, or in Trump's second half of his term.
Well, you're right. And, you know, here's the thing. Trump is not our boss. He's our servant. Okay. I did not elect a boss. I elected a servant. And like when Trump waffled on the Epstein deal and a bunch of influencers were saying, hey, man, the boss says shut up about Epstein. He's like, no, man, I did not elect a boss. I elected someone to do what I want. Okay. And I love Trump, and I'm glad I voted for him. I don't regret my vote at all. But, you know, I don't agree with everything he says or does, but I don't agree with one person on this earth 100%. So I'm fine with that. I can disagree with someone and be fine. No problemo. But
you've never disagreed with me.
Well, that's true. But, you know, I mean, the fact is that, you know, the shadow of Israel is always hovering behind the Epstein deal, okay?
Thank you.
And that is just something that Trump will not touch.
Yeah.
And I knew that going in.
Yep.
I knew that his, and I'm not the Jew guy, okay? I'm not, okay?
Holland,
I'm not saying it's the Jews.
Yeah, Holland, you don't have, on this show, dude, and you know this, you don't have to, you know, preemptively, you know, okay yourself about saying anything. I'll take the hit. But because I'm with you. I know where you're going here, and it goes back to Kirk, too.
Yeah, and Kirk, as we know, as the record shows, had called out Netanyahu specifically several times. And as we know, in a meeting a month before his murder, was being screamed at by his Jewish sponsors because he was allowing people at TPUSA events who were not in love with Israel. You know, and $150 million had been withdrawn in promised donations. You know, and this is not about Israel or the Jews or Palestine. Kirk was specifically did not like Netanyahu. He thought he was a bully.
Right.
He thought he was exerting too much influence. And Netanyahu, remember before 10/7, was in political trouble. They wanted to impeach him in Israel.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Palestine is able to pull off a surprise attack using tens of thousands of fighters, and apparently none of them called their Mossad handlers to tell them that it was going on. I mean, come on, man.
Right.
We know Mossad's all over Gaza. We know
And
they're all
with
over
no
Palestine. We know they have
response.
people everywhere.
And no
Yeah.
real response for what, 24 or 36 hours or so?
Like
yeah,
we said,
yeah.
this program-
10/7 was 9/11, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for sure. And Charlie Kirk even said that right after 10/7. He said, "There's no way this was a surprise attack," and there is no way.
That's right.
Military intelligence knows when stray dogs have a litter of pups on the streets of Gaza. Okay, there's no way that 10,000 fighters gassed up their paragliders and loaded their weapons, and several hundred or thousand of them did not call their handler and say, "Hey, man, we got orders to go." Okay, there's no way that didn't happen.
Like we've said
I'm
in
in,
this,
I'm in the same. You know, I'm actually in the same lane with you, Holland. It's not. I have nothing against. It's just. I have nothing against the Israeli people. I have nothing against anybody that is in that area. But I don't trust Netanyahu for anything. He is. I mean, you just look at what happened. You look at the events of October 7th, and when you like read as far as what was going on during those particular days, either before and after, a lot of the Israeli generals were literally probably after the Shabbat holiday were probably going to give a no confidence vote to him.
exactly.
They were going to say they want him out. And what is the easiest way to basically save your ass? And we all know it's basically start a war. And just like you said with Israel, they know everything going on around that border. They know everything going on around those fences. They know when someone takes a piss.
Yeah.
I mean, and they can even tell if they have to go to the prostate doctor or not. They can tell what the flow is. I mean, they know everything that goes on. You're telling me they had no clue that heavy equipment was coming towards those fences and literally ripped them out. The only way that that's possible is, like they said, all of a sudden the security on that fence went out. So they have now dark points within the fence and don't, and I get it was the Shabbat holiday, and I get a lot of people were celebrating, but you're telling me the military base.
That doesn't matter, man. Okay, first of all, it's the military, and second of all, the Yom Kippur War, which almost extinguished Israel, happened on the same holiday. They should know better. You don't send the military home for a religious holiday. When I was in the Marine Corps, you know what I was doing on Christmas Day? I was staying to watch on base, man. Okay.
Absolutely. There's no way.
Yeah, it's like, so where was the military? Yeah, where's the military? It's like you have this military who is supposed to be one of the best, I don't know if you want to call them civilian trained, but you always talk about, everybody talks about the IDF, yet where was the military? The military was nowhere to be found. Yeah, it's like, don't tell me you didn't let this happen because old good old Bibi knew he was in deep trouble.
Yeah, he was going to be toppled. He was going to be, and likely
he had
probably
been
going
removed.
to jail.
He had been removed from power in the past, and I don't really have any adverse issues about him. I think what he's trying to do is take a very hard line, of advancing and securing Israel. But there's no doubt in my mind that there was a stand down to allow this to happen, like you say, so that there could be a response, like there was a response from 9/11.
Can I say? Well, you mentioned 9. What are you doing, Keith? Trying to scoop me? Scoop me? I want to quote my favorite Bibi quote from Netanyahu.
You want to quote the Bibi?
Yeah, I want to quote. It's my favorite quote from Netanyahu.
The Bieber.
Yeah.
Oh, the Bieber.
My favorite quote is, quote, 9/11 was very good for Israel, unquote.
Yeah.
There you go.
We've said it many times on this program.
Yep.
That October 6th, Bibi was a political cripple. He was hobbled, he was wounded, and he was on his way out. October 8th, the man was the most powerful man in the Middle East. Nobody can deny that. That is evidence enough to point to an operation, an inside job.
It is. It is. And towards, I'm sorry, I think we're talking about it, right? Towards something that happened in Utah. A joint.
Yeah,
effort.
I was just going to say, I was just going to say, I got to go there because it's a question now that's on my mind. How much influence does Netanyahu have over either Trump or people within the Trump administration?
Well, I mean, all word that we're getting is that Trump is kind of terrified of Netanyahu for some reason. You know, I mean, it's, I don't know what's
like
being
what he
held
said.
above whose head.
I like what he said. He said, you know, if you don't go for this deal, there's a time to walk away from the table, and that means we walk away from you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And why won't? And it seems like that would be the easiest thing to do. It's like if you don't stop, you know, throwing bombs and everything into these areas, we're going to cut you off. He says it to everybody else, but he won't say it to him. So what is the deal? What does Israel have on him? What is Trump protect? Why is Trump protecting? I'm not going to say Israel, but I'm going to say Netanyahu and the Israeli government. Why are they being protected so much? What weight do they have over us? How much weight do they have over us?
Yeah,
it's probably the better question. I mean, when you think about the last, you know, the Autopen administration from, you know, the last administration, the Obamas, but, you know, the Clintons, all of them, how much stuff, how big is that closet? How big is that graveyard that they have sitting over us where...
Don't you forget about Jorge Bush.
Well, I definitely can't forget about the Bushes. Definitely can't forget about any of those.
Let's walk on from them. That's
why, you know, and you know, Holland, I think you said it perfectly. Why does Trump seem neutered around Netanyahu? Why?
There's an unknown factor. There's an unknown factor at play. That's all I know. There's an unknown factor. I can only guess. And that's what it would be, a plain wild ass guess, not what it is. But there's something at play that we don't know about.
Let me. Okay, go ahead, Sky.
No, go ahead, Chad. I was just going to say, listen, the ADL, which sucks. The ADL will make anything of anything. You know, we all know what they do. Right, but the fact is, unless I'm incorrect, because there is none of us people like us, you know, these batshit crazy kooky conspiracy theorists who are seeking truth. We're truth seekers, and actually, it's, you know, conspiracy facts and all this. Where is it that it gets lost to the American public, the rest of the world? The majority of, there's no attacking Israelis. You know, the majority of Israel's population is secular.
Mm-hmm.
They're not
Jewish.
Yeah, the majority of the population is secular. So it always like you're anti-Israel. You're anti. No. We're anti-wrong people, wrongdoing stuff. And the Mossad.
Well,
I'm sorry. If you, why did you, Jorge Bush administration, State Department, Jorge Bush administration, why did you send those 5 Mossad agents caught filming the towers being hit and celebrating? Why did you send them back to Israel instead of keeping them here and asking them hard questions like, how'd you know to be filming?
Yeah. What exactly were you monitoring, my friend?
Yeah.
The operation that you were watching? And hopefully you weren't assisting them, because that's a question that needs to be asked. So, yeah.
Yeah, instead they send them back quietly. Oh, no big deal. You were just filming at the perfect time, location, and caught on film dancing and cheering. There's no questions to be asked here. Let's send those boys back. Yeah.
And they did
Just
that
like
with
all the Saudis that were sent back.
Absolutely.
Well, while Americans could not fly, Saudis were being flown out by the dozens or hundred load out of the country back to their home of origin.
Yep.
For some reason.
You know, just for the hell of it. Yeah. It's amazing to me.
Yeah.
Guys, now that we've broached this subject a little bit, because I just want to bring this up. I said I was going to throw this haymaker thing, right? Scotty asked me to privately in his mind.
Okay. Yes, I have. Yes, I have mind melded with Chad, and he's inside my head, and he's very scary. But it's like you should see him when he's not on camera. He's in the corner in a fetal position, just rocking back and forth.
With the green lampshade on my head. Yes.
With the green lampshade on your head.
It has to be green. Okay. Here's the deal. This is just me. I'm not speaking for anyone else on the show. This is just me. In my opinion, because I don't think any of us buy the official story we want, as Holland was saying at the beginning of tonight's broadcast, we want, and I agree, I want to believe the official story. I want it to be cut and dry, that's it, and blah, blah, blah. But this is just me. I think the assassination, the public execution, just as it was in Daly Plaza, Dallas, Texas, November 22, 1963, it was a public execution. That's Jim Marr's words on this show.
Mm-hmm.
I think that public execution was a preemptive strike. That's just me. I think Charlie Kirk, in 8 years or more, would have followed after J.D. Vance. I think the global syndicate, the New World Order fucks, realized that this guy was creating an incredible avalanche inside of America.
Influence.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Of revival, in faith, and many ways of just bringing back youth into understanding what America is and supposed to be about, along with the Great One. And I think this was a preemptive strike. That's what I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ian Trottier, I love the hell out of Ian Trottier, but at first, all of us are fucked up on that day. And Ian was questioning, like, he's just a guy who goes around speaking. He wasn't just a guy who goes around speaking.
No, yeah, he was running the most efficient political machine in the country.
I think it's a preemptive strike. That's what I think it is.
Well, and we think of the election cycle and how it goes, with the Iowa caucus and how much time candidates spend there. Months, right? But Charlie was spending years in the up-and-coming voting electric.
Well, right? Remember, the global syndicate, the New World,
Charlie delivered Arizona.
They think decades ahead about what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. These New World Order people. Charlie was a threat.
Long term.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he could go
had a good shot at being president one day.
Oh, they think 100 years ahead. I mean, they're always thinking generationally, and to add on with Charlie Kirk, then I think I heard Brooks. You wanted to say something. I'll let Brooks go. I think the biggest thing Charlie Kirk is doing, and I think the biggest fear they had with Charlie Kirk, was that he was not just this political juggernaut that was bringing young people to the political game and making them realize what is going on and what the truth was. But what he was doing is he was bringing young people to faith.
Yeah.
He was bringing young people. Yeah. He was bringing young people to God in a way and connecting with them in a way that I think scared the absolute hell out of the globalists, scared the absolute hell out of them.
And their master.
And that is why I believe that is why they felt they had to do what they had to do. It was because of that, because he was building like you guys said, he was building this juggernaut, but he was building this juggernaut based on faith, and they can't have that.
So do you everyone agree on my preemptive strike thing?
Yeah.
I absolutely.
Well,
I absolutely agree with your preemptive strike.
Charlie Kirk was the best of us. He wasn't the only one out there doing it. I mean, we are all doing it. There was Turning Point, there was Tipping Point with Scott McKay. There's me. There's probably 50 or 60 others like us that go out, and we can take any question from anybody, anywhere, anytime, and we can answer with the right answer. But Charlie Kirk was the best of us. And that's what scares the hell out of me. It began to scare me a couple years ago when, we started to really have an effect, and YouTube went after us. Which, by the way, I just got my YouTube channel back today. Shocker of shockers.
We're going for that as well next week, Brooks. Yeah.
I think we're on YouTube right now.
When they took us all,
we're on YouTube right now.
Oh.
We're on YouTube right now.
Okay.
I realized how powerful they were. That they not only took my YouTube out, they took my PayPal out, they took my Venmo out, they took my Shopify out, and then they stopped my Social Security check for 2 months. That's how much fucking power.
Jesus.
Yeah.
The preemptive strike thing is you're dead on, Chad, and I think it's, if it has anything to do with Israel, God help them, because this is, if it was a political assassination due to the fact that he was bringing faith back in this country, that is something that is going to, I would think, is going to change dramatically the relationships around the world.
And I can't help that none of this would have happened if Trump had released the Epstein files.
Very well said.
I don't even know what to, and I think I've said it the times that I've been on the show here since I got hurt. I don't even know what is going on with this whole Epstein thing and Trump.
It's Israel.
It's got to be.
I'll say it.
It is.
And it's not Israelis, it's not Jews, it's the Israeli government and Mossad.
Yeah.
We know for a fact.
That's who he worked for. Jeffrey Epstein.
Reporting to Mossad. He's not the only agency he was reporting to. He was reporting to CIA also.
Yeah.
He was reporting to Mossad, and he was Jewish, and he's working with other Jewish operatives. And Mossad is very cold-blooded. Everyone knows this.
It is literally, and you're right, Holland. It is literally the only common denominator with the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, if people really want to be honest with themselves and you start asking the right questions, what is the common denominator between all of this? And you look at the circumstances behind every single event that has been going on. It comes down to Israel. It comes down not to the Israeli people, not to the people who are in the country, but the Israeli government.
Yes, like the American government, like the federal government, which no one's a fan of. I love America, not the federal government. I have no problem with Israelis. The Israeli government, I got a couple bones to pick with them. Epstein among them. This unholy wedding between the deep state of Israel and the United States is bearing unholy fruit. It's bearing evil. And, honestly, I knew when I voted for Trump that he was weak on Israel. I knew it. Okay, whatever. That's just what it is.
I was telling you to vote for Kamala, and you wouldn't.
So none of this surprises me, but the depth of what's going on, it's like we keep on seeing bad consequences from this relationship that the deep states of both countries share. We keep on seeing these bad fruits, these bad things happening. And honestly, you know what? I think the Trump administration honestly is doing what they can within the power structure they inherited.
I think you're right.
How about this as a crazy proposal, just out of the blue? I'm just throwing it out there. What happens if part of the Charlie Kirk assassination was to send a message to Trump?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's always possible. I mean, there's been arguments said that I think we've had him on this show, Chad, if I remember right. We've had arguments saying JFK Jr. may have been killed to send a message to Bill Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that said before on the show when we've talked about the JFK Jr. Murder.
Right, and Brooks, you talked about last week or 2 weeks ago, I guess it was, about Sarah B. Huckabee's chief of staff getting shot in his face, right?
It was the airport manager, the highest paid government employee in the state of Arkansas. They planned it. They tried it once he wasn't home, and the second time he was home, they taped over his Ring camera. They knocked on his door, bashed it in, and 17 seconds later shot him in the forehead and killed him. That was a message to Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Don't you dare run for president.
Hey, Scotty, you got something on your shoulder or sleeve or something? Your earbuds?
Right. Oh, hang on.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, it does that every once in a while. It kind of starts doing some weird little air tunnel plane thing.
We were flying through that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great point that you made, Brooks, about with Huckabee. You brought up there, Keith, and everything. But listen, Charlie was going to be. I'm not making this shit up. I mean, this is my thing that it was a preemptive strike. That's just my thing. But it's a fact. Even JD said that he was going to be a future president. That was in the works.
He definitely had the face-to-face training. He could go. Now, I'm not saying that he won every single debate at these universities. That's not the case. In fact, he rarely converted the person that came to the microphone. But the thousands of people that were standing around the microphone listening, he was converting them, and they were registering to be Republicans by the hundreds of thousands.
That's why they wanted a hat.
Yeah.
You know, you're right.
The thing is, in this day and age, people are going to listen to Charlie Kirk more than ever. They may have tried to send a message. They killed the messenger, but not the message. The message will live on. His content is going to be watched more than he was alive.
Yeah.
And his message will live on. I don't think they won with the murder of Charlie Kirk.
No, they lost.
I think that was an act of desperation. That was an act of evil, and it will not win. It will not win.
When they killed him, they activated an army.
No question.
No question. I mean, they think that they were stopping whatever it is that they were trying to stop, and it backfired. Because now his army has grown since then, and they're coming. Man, it's going to be full force.
And what an awesome wife and spouse he has. And you got to know that God's in charge, and God has a plan, and God put them together. And I think that's how she's able to move forward, that she recognizes she is part of God's plan in the movement in which her husband had started.
And not just her, his kids. As they grow, I believe that every single one of them are going to take off from where he was.
I'm not banging on you, Adam, but who knows, man? Because they'll never know their father. They're too damn young. I mean, that comes from someone I lost.
Right.
My dad was dead when I was 7 months old. You grow up knowing how great your dad was. You want to do something else. That's what I did. But I'm just saying. But
One
you're
thing I'll
right.
say about Erica is that Erica Kirk is a beauty pageant winner.
Yeah.
And what I will say about women like that is that they are fiercely competitive. And it's their way or the highway. You know, beauty pageants are not a team sport. So I really know nothing about her inclinations, but if she sets her mind to it, she definitely has the funding and the tools and the drive and willpower to accomplish her goals, whatever they may be.
I said this on the show the last time I was on. It was literally
And
the
I
day
don't want
after,
you to
or a
repeat
few
it.
days after
I
Charlie
don't
Kirk.
want you to repeat it again.
Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and I said I do not want to be the person who has made an enemy of Erica Kirk at this point, because God help you.
Yeah.
That woman had, I mean, and you look what you were talking about, how Charlie Kirk has become bigger than he probably ever could, living on this earth. I think it's your state, Holland, Oklahoma. I think they're putting a Turning Point chapter in every single high school.
Yeah. Every single high school and college has an application for Turning Point USA.
Wow.
And I mean, their applications are like 100 times bigger or larger in the amount than what chapters they had before. This will grow. This will become huge. And I'm not saying it's a good thing Charlie's dead. Of course not.
No.
But they killed him, and this will just make his message bigger and better. And there's going to be 1,000 Charlie Kirks after this, man. They messed up big time.
They did.
And, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, man. Dude, I agree completely. I just duded you, but I completely agree with what you just said right there. And last Saturday night, I think it was last Saturday night, Keith. If it wasn't, it was the one before. Anyway, I said, and I'll just say it here, Holland, because, we were dancing around, and I said, I green-lighted you. It's like, come on, dude, I'm with you. We'll talk about the massage shit, right? Here's the thing. I definitely said it last Saturday night or the Saturday night before, but I'm going to re-emphasize that, in my opinion, I mean, Charlie now is obviously a martyr. I think he's a bigger martyr than MLK.
Yeah.
And he's
a much better person.
Yeah, I said I think it was last Saturday night.
Yeah, I think it was last Saturday.
Okay. I said he's a bigger martyr than MLK. People might get pissed off at me, blah, blah, blah. Well, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a shit. The thing is, listen, MLK, hey, it's great stuff that he did, but there was infidelity. There was other stuff going on, right? And I said, maybe, Charlie was only 31. Maybe he didn't have enough time to fuck up. But the thing is, he was pure snow, and he's a bigger martyr. I think he's going to be a bigger martyr than MLK. And I'll shut up.
Yeah.
Well, I remember,
he will have a greater effect than MLK. I'll say that.
Well, I do like the idea of these chapters in these high schools, and I remember growing up in the 80s and graduating in the 80s in high school and college. There used to be a thing called Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And athletes usually have a pretty good pull, in their high school and the leadership role and that type of stuff. And that Christian issue was part of that whole issue. And then it's waned its way out over the last 2 to 3 decades. And
now it's coming back.
And now it might be coming back under a new name, and not just somewhat limited to the athletes, but to the Christian leaders, the individuals with parents and families of Christian beliefs are going to come, and they're going to be somewhat in the driving issue of these schools. And Christianity is going to, hopefully, if it's God's plan, right, to start to become one of the influences in these teenagers.
You know what's really cool?
Mm-hmm.
Starting this October 2nd, this October 2nd, they have Bring Your Bible to School Day for K through 12,
Really?
and even some colleges. And they're going to continue to do that every year, the first Thursday of October. And they're encouraging the kids to bring their Bible to school and share their favorite stories and verses with their classmates in the Bible. And I think that's the first step. I think it's going to start the trend, and then it's going to become once a month and then maybe once a week. But I thought that was really cool.
Definitely.
No, faith. I absolutely. Faith is the true enemy of these soulless pieces of garbage. I mean, and they are pieces of garbage. They have no soul. They want none of these people. Like, I'm still watching this live shot from Portland, and they're throwing tear gas and everything out there now. But they don't. These people have no soul. They have no. They have no idea of consequences. They have no. They have nothing. They have nothing. They don't think there's anything after this. So, you have these people are so just morally and spiritually screwed up. And Charlie Kirk, what he's done is he's made sure that the next generation coming up is not going to be that.
And the answer is faith. You're right.
Very, very well said, Scotty. I mean, Holland talked about it before you came on, as far as these people. I think you brought up nihilism.
Mm-hmm.
Holland, I mean,
that's why they won't stop. They're completely committed to nihilistic principles. They have no principles to rest upon. You can't debate or argue with them. They can't. That's what Charlie Kirk proved. That their foundation is sand. It is merely resentment and hate, and frankly, I believe a lot of demonic possession. Quite frankly.
And the reason that you can believe that, and the reason that it shows true, is that this conflict between good and evil is throughout thousands of years in the Bible. This isn't the first time that there's a a conflict between good and evil. This conflict has been going on for centuries and millenniums. So.
But we are at a red heat of waging that war here in America right now.
Yeah.
And Europe has largely been delivered unto the evil one. America stands alone.
Yes.
It's still a country that values faith. And faith founded this country. I'm not here to preach. I'm here to just state the facts of life. Abandon the faith, abandon the country. That's what happened in Europe. That's what they're trying to do here. And Charlie Kirk has started a revival through his death. Young people do know there's a void in the liberal, secular theology, that there's nothing to offer except hate and resentment towards your own people, the people who made you, people who made your society. That's not productive. Charlie Kirk offers and is offering, will continue to offer through his message, which will live on, an answer to all of this, and that is faith.
Yep. Damn straight. Well said, Holland. Dude.
Amen.
Straight up, amen to that all night long. And, at some point, some of those people are going to wake up also and say, this is fucking painful. I got to pierce my nose and put Kool-Aid in my hair.
Yeah. Some of those people are going to wake up. They are. Some of those people are going to wake up to what's going on.
They are waking up, actually. Have you guys seen the amount? I brought this up with Keith last Saturday night. Every Saturday night is last night to me. So last night I brought this up to Keith. There are so many people from so-called leftists, so-called Democrats, right? There are so many people after what they did to Charlie, what happened to Charlie, right? They have bought a Bible. They're making TikToks about, I bought a Bible. I'm leaving the Democrat Party. It's like a combination of one or both, and it's all over the country. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can see God's hand in the country. And if you want to start at 2016 with Trump's, win over Hillary Clinton, and then we all kind of were in a fog at 2020, like, how is this possible? How is this God's plan that Biden's there? But now in 2024,
It worked out.
25, it worked out, and we're like, oh, I know, the fog is clear. I see what's going on now.
Go ahead,
How about
Brooks.
Keith, remember?
Go ahead.
Keith, remember what I said, and it's on our Rumble page. Remember what I said 4 years ago when Chad hit the floor.
All right.
I said Joe Biden would be the greatest thing that ever happened to this country, and it's because we got to go through hell to get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's exactly what it started.
And that's the
I
night
don't know
I
what
fired.
Charlie- I mean-
fired Scott. Just kidding.
Yeah, Charlie. With Charlie, everything has a purpose, and God has a plan, and maybe this is the explanation of God's plan. What you were talking about, it's bringing people back. It's bringing people back to faith. It's people are, like you said, Paul and Chad, you both said it. People are waking up and they're buying Bibles, and they're completely turning away from this nihilistic, just soulless life, and they're starting to push back to the light. And if I'm sure Charlie's up there, and yeah, it's awful what happened, and it's awful that he's gone, but he's up there. He may be up there going, okay, at least I get it. At least
Right.
I get it. I get what the plan. I go, okay, I get what your plan was. I get what your plan was for me.
Well, and we won't see it just like, 2000, right? It's going to take 4 or 5, 6 years or so for us to be able to really see the results of Charlie Kirk's assassination. So just have to have
And
faith.
it's going to get worse. Hey, it's going to get worse before it gets better, because this monster now, which is in a sense dying, this monster is going to have its death throes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have to be ready. We have to be ready for those death throes, because you can see now it's going to get worse in these next few years. It's going to get worse, and then hopefully come 2028, I don't know where we're going to be at that point, and I don't know what is going to happen. But hopefully by 2028, things, maybe the dust starts to clear, and maybe we're on that path now to rebuild this country to really what it was.
Well, that's why it's important that, Trump's agenda versus, the economy, American first and all of that. That's why it's important that it succeeds.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it doesn't, then we're back to the same old pendulum back between rhinos and Democrats.
I think it's going to succeed.
Yeah.
I really do. I think that's why. And Brooks, I want to get you in on here too before we begin to close out. I think it's going to succeed because, once again, as Scotty said, Biden is a good thing. With the 2020 election still, Jazz, and he was correct.
Well,
I
Trump's
was-
first term.
Yeah,
then
yeah,
his
yeah.
Second term, where he was in exile, and now he's in his third term.
Exactly, Brooks. Exactly. And yeah,
And we
so
probably got the best Trump out of the deal.
exactly.
The
Yes.
Trump who was almost thrown in prison, the Trump who was almost shot twice or 3 times. Apparently there was a valid attempt in Vegas, but they caught him before he tried it off. We got the best Trump out of the deal. I'll be quite honest. Towards the end of Trump's first term, I was souring on him quite heavily. And this dude, he's lost the game, okay. But I think we got the best Trump out of the deal.
We did, plain and simple. But as I was going to say, simply, I said on this show that he has Scotty, what have I said over and over again that he has on this show?
Providence.
Yeah.
Problem. Yeah.
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 He had Providence that day. I think he has Providence, period, every day, and that's why he's here. But it was proof in Butler, Pennsylvania,
Oh, sure.
last summer, summer 24.
Yeah.
It was proof that he had Providence. He's supposed to be here for a reason, and and the reason why he's here is because this is a continuation. So what I'm saying is we are going to be better in 2028. That's the reason why he's here.
Right.
That's the reason
And
why
we
there's a
didn't go
JD
through all of
Vance.
this for nothing.
Yeah.
God did not put us through all of this for nothing. Things
agree with
will
that.
get better. Things will improve.
Yes.
I believe this is going to be the second turning of America away from this secular theology that infected it towards something better, towards something great. When America began as a country, you can count the democracies in the world on one hand. By the time American greatness had been established in the post-war era, most of the countries in the world are democracies. Okay? That's us. We did that.
Right.
That's
And we can return to that.
you were kicking ass, Holland.
Hey.
No, seriously, dude. It's so well said, dude. So well said. And I think all of us agree.
Well, and is even going back to 2000 with Bush Gore, you can see God's hand in that issue as well. Is that Bush had lots of problems. I'm very sour on Bush, for a lot of reasons. But I would vote for Bush
should be,
100
sir.
times. I'd vote for Bush 100 times over Al Gore, right?
Well, I mean, they're the same people.
Well, maybe, but maybe one might be walking towards communism, and one might be.
Yeah, I didn't vote for Bush.
Well, yeah, I understand, but you probably didn't vote
stayed
for
out of that.
Gore, did you? I mean, maybe you did.
No. I think I voted for Ron Paul and Ross Perot. I voted for anyone but Bush.
And I have voted third party, and I have abstained too. But anyway,
Yeah.
my point being is, we've had choices as Americans for at least the last 20, 25 years.
Yeah, and Bush took us down the Rhino route, and it soured us on the Rhino route. We're tired of the Rhino route.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, Bush was necessary. And Biden was necessary, and now we see what the enemy is, and we know what the obstacles are. We know. I mean, people think they call MAGA people, cultists or whatever. No.
No.
Trump's own supporters turn on him all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, we're questioning him, remember, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a good thing. Okay, that's
Yeah.
a good thing.
It is.
Like Biden could command his followers at will, or the Democratic Party. Like Trump actually has to deal with us because we will give him shit if he's not abiding by our wishes. And he's never going to live the Epstein thing down. Never. As much as he wants to, whatever reason he's doing it for, he's never going to live that down. It's going to be a permanent albatross around his neck because we're not going to let him get away with it.
And King David had Bathsheba, and that's just life. And God uses broken people to do what he needs.
Yes. King David was a tool of God, and he was far from a perfect creature, but he fulfilled the will of God.
And 47 could still fix the Epstein shit. I think he will. I think he could do it if he wants to.
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't
believe in all this.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll. Yeah, that may be the only time it'll. Something is holding him back from that, and we talked about it. We know.
I know. We
know
just
what the
talked
common
about it.
denominator is.
I know.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm staying on a positive tip. Arsenio Hall. Okay.
Well, no, it's good to stay on the positive tip, but to have a little, I think it's staying on the positive tip with a healthy dash of reality.
Yeah, dude. Listen,
I think that's the way to look at it. Yeah.
how long you been working with me? And you always want You always want to, slap my hand with the positive tip thing. I'm with you. I understand my parameters.
Yeah.
I understand my parameters, Mr. Scotty Hare. Hey, Brooks.
Yes, sir.
What you want to say before we get out of here? We start getting out of here, and I want you to stay on with us. You got to hear the ending.
Well, listen, we're back on YouTube. This is a good thing. So we're going to be live tomorrow night at 8 p.m. on YouTube, streaming to YouTube for the first time in almost 6 years.
Yeah. For us, it'll be 4 years. Yeah.
Yeah, this was the first. It's streaming over there now. They haven't taken us down, so it is up and it is running. So for a test, they haven't pulled it down yet. So this may be a good thing.
Congratulations, there, Brooks.
Awesome.
I'm so glad for you.
Don't forget to look up X Squared Radio because we're going to be live tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time.
This is awesome. Hey, listen, this has been a great show, guys. Holland, you're always welcome to come on, man. You don't have to wait, 8 months, 9 months for a baby to be made.
I'm bashful. For those of you who are listening, we're having a film showing of A Noble Lie in Dallas, Texas, next Sunday, October 12th, at the Angelica Film Center. You can look up ministryoftruthfilmfest.com, ministryoftruthfilmfest.com to buy tickets. I'm going to be there. Jesse Trentadue, a couple other people, but they're having a showing of the film in Dallas. So that's A Noble Lie. It's a documentary about the Oklahoma City bombing. All of those you listening can check it out on Rumble or other venues for free. It's a 2-hour documentary on the cover-up of the bombing in 1995.
Is it still on Tubi? Is it still on one of the media platforms? I think it was Tubi that it was on. I think that's where I watched it.
Yeah, it's on Tubi too. It's on a whole bunch of different channels. So just search on your any venue for A Noble Lie, Oklahoma City, 1995.
Yeah, this everyone. If you haven't seen A Noble Lie, you should see it. And Holland's he's never on here to sit there and say, "Hey, buy my documentary." It's all free. It's been free for a long time. Holland's on here because
he paid it off within
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on here because I like you. Yeah, we paid that thing off within a couple months, and we said we put it up for free. So
exactly. Holland's on here because I like him and he likes me. Because Holland's one of the solidest people, like basically all of our guests, and we're truth seekers, and it's a beautiful thing. I think it's been a great show, Scotty. I'm glad you were able to join us. I am too, Chad.
Finally.
I know you are.
But big things coming on the horizon. We're starting to talk about them. So that's all I'm going to say to the listeners. Big things are coming.
Yes, sir. When we can get you in a regular sounding thing.
Yeah. But there is as I'll say, there is a plan. There is a plan, and it will be when we are ready. The plan will be activated.
Exactly, Scotty, and we're going to let people know that when the plan is ready.
Yep.
And I'm with you on that, and we got stuff behind the scenes. Holland Vanner Nieuwenhof, Holland, if it's your choice if you want to hear the entire Get Out, it's fun. But Holland, actually stay with us because Scotty has to be on too, so just stay with us. But Holland, always love having you on, my brother, and thank you so much for coming on tonight. And I want to get you on soon again. When you want to come on, you can always come on.
All right. Yeah, we'll do it very soon. Thank you very much. It's been a great time.
Holland Vanner Nieuwenhof, folks, and remember, it's in Dallas. When, Holland?
Yeah, it's in Dallas this upcoming Sunday, Angelica Film Center, Ministry of Truth Filmfest.com. You can buy tickets there, look at the information. But Sunday night, I'll be in Dallas and we'll be showing the film.
And you can meet Holland, and he's a really cool dude. It's beyond cool.
I'll be the guy at the bar
with the green lampshade on his head.
Yeah.
Keith Temple, thank you so much. Here, Adam Mirth.
Thanks for having us.
The world's most interesting man, Dr. Brooks Agnew. Tell everyone about brooksagnew.com.
brooksagnew.com, easy to do. Sign up for our newsletter. Stay up on everything. That's where the past meets the future.
And listen to his show later on tonight, because it's Sunday morning already.
Right on.
Listen to that show, Brooks. We love you. Always great having you on, and thank you so much. Scotty Hare, we can't wait to not hear that buzz again.
Yeah.
But
I'm working on it.
Yeah. Well,
Getting closer every day.
Great having you on, Scotty, and we're going to say goodnight. So, listen, great show, guys. And for our elusive engineer, webmaster Tony, the greatest producer on the planet, the Sentinel, you just heard everybody other than, who else could I mention? The great Bob Austin, folks. Until next time, let justice be done, though the heavens fall. I'm Truth. This is the one and only Earth. Dance, Keith, dance. I want more dancing, more cowbell. I want more cowbell.